We are going to do a little pan searing demo. We recommend putting in enough oil to have a nice coat across the bottom of the pan. And if you are being a little bit sparing with the oil, swirling the pan around is the best way to get even browning on the dumpling. And pan searing is actually my favorite way to cook anything. It is a two-part cooking process. So you get to fry, and then you also get to steam. And the fried part is really crispy, and that's what makes your tummy happy. And then the steamed part is, of course, tender and a little bit more healthy, so that is what makes the rest of your body happy. And the other thing that I really love about it is that everything takes place in just one pan. So you don't have to get a big pot full of water boils. You don't have to deal with those bamboo steamers, which are really nice but are hard to clean. And I am all about being a lazy cook. So whatever gets the dumplings into my belly fastest is what I always like to do. So today we're using a cast iron pan, which is a great option for searing dumplings. When I'm at home, I usually just use a non-stick pan. The thing you want to stay away from is stainless steel, because stainless steel loves dumplings so much that it doesn't want to let them go. And the saddest thing ever is when your crispy dumpling bottoms stick to the pan and then you don't get to eat them. So non-stick, cast iron, and a good spatula, and you should do just great. Does anyone here ever go to Trader Joe's and buy lots of frozen dumplings from the frozen section? Yeah? Okay, great. So the great thing about this is the process works for a frozen dumpling that you buy at Trader Joe's, a fresh dumpling that you just made at your own dumpling party, or an already cooked dumpling that you brought home from that great dumpling class you took from that nice neighborhood restaurant. So we start with, hello. Hi.
This is so cute. Actually, Anne's here and wants to say hi. If you don't
Training material.
Oh.
It's okay. So the first thing we're going to do is just start to get a little bit of browning on the bottom of the dumpling. That's what we're looking for. And then we are going to go into the steaming phase of the cooking process. You want to use your lid. It makes a great shield. And we're just going to put enough water to really coat the bottom of the pan. And then you can hear all that water is boiling and creating a steam chamber underneath the lid. If you're cooking a frozen dumpling, you usually want to be under the lid for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then, of course, the time can decrease depending on what state your dumpling is in. If it's a raw meat dumpling, you can always use an instant read thermometer to see if you're at 165. Or you can do what Chinese mothers and grandmothers have been doing since the beginning of time, which is crack it open and see if you think it's cooked or not. And once all of that time has elapsed, we are going to take that lid off and then just cook away the rest of the water until the bottom of the dumpling is crispy again. I also like to use this cooking process for vegetables or anything else that has kind of an irregular shape, because the steam really helps you cook everything evenly. So if you have like half a head of broccoli, you can sear it on one side and then use the lid to steam up the rest of it. That's one of my favorite things. And any questions while we re-crisp these dumplings?
Where can I get wrappers from?
We recommend buying wrappers from Super 88 or H Mart. Really, any Asian grocery store should have a variety. And even some Whole Foods will have one or two options in the fresh produce section near the kimchi and the tofu. But we encourage experimenting with all the different brands and seeing which one you like the best.
What else can you put in the dumplings? Do we get a recipe card from today?
Yes, we will be sending you home with a recipe card, and thankfully, the internet is full of incredible dumpling recipes. We really learned how to cook by watching YouTube videos and reading all sorts of cookbooks. So our general rule is if it tastes good outside of a dumpling, it'll probably taste even more delicious wrapped in starch and fried. So again, we encourage you to experiment. A great shortcut if you want to make a delicious meat dumpling is you can go to your local deli counter and buy sausage. It can be cased, and you can just cut it out of the casing, mix it with some vegetables, and then you have a sort of already seasoned meat dumpling ready to go. Or you can use our fancy recipe card. Yes?
How should we go about making and storing these?
So if you are at a dumpling party, we recommend laying them out on a tray, just like you did in class today, And if you want to freeze them, you want to keep them on the tray until they're frozen solid. Then, once they're totally hardened, you can empty them into a Ziploc bag for storage.
So are there any more questions?
Okay, are there any more questions?
No, I think we're good.
All right, and we have pretty much cooked all the water out of this pan, and we have some really beautifully browned, nice and crispy pan-seared dumplings. Hooray!